The elementary and middle school years pose many interesting challenges for educational interpreters. Just as preschool and primary age students present ever-changing development, so do pre- and early adolescent students present a changing profile that varies both within the individual and between individuals at any given period. The educational interpreter who has an appreciation for the changing profile that characterizes this age group is probably an interpreter who is experienced with this particular age group. Interpreters who have no experience, either personally or professionally, with 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or even some 8th graders will probably learn early in their work with this age group that a critical part of the changing profile involves the development of social competence. A growing body of literature attests to the recognition that a child's social competence from 8 to 12 or 13 years of age is defined by relationships. Several categories of relationships can be found in the educational setting. Peer relationships that exist between and among students who are deaf, hearing, and hard of hearing. Teacher-student relationships, teacher-interpreter relationships, teacher-student-interpreter relationships, and the broader category of relationships that exist within educational communities. Interpreters in the middle and upper elementary school grades must be sensitive to and knowledgeable of the dynamics involved in each of these relationships. Tanya Gallagher addressed language competence and its effect on peer relationships during these changing years. She described two kinds of peer friendships: friendships of popularity that occur when one is liked or accepted by one's peers, and close friendships or chumships that occur when mutual needs for intimacy are met. The first friendship of popularity, is evidenced in group behavior. Students in the elementary and middle school age group are likely to want to dress like, look like, and have things just like their peers whom they perceive as popular. Being different, especially different enough to have an interpreter, may challenge the student's sense of self-esteem and impact negatively on the student's relationships with peers. I recall 3 different stories of young deaf girls who each at about the 4th to 5th grade experience emotional struggles over their differences. In the first story, the mother of a very bright, attractive, and financially advanced girl was devastated when her deaf daughter told her and her father that they could no longer sign to her when they went out to dinner, because as she indicated, she wanted to pretend to be hearing. In the second story, the mother of a very popular deaf girl was worried when her daughter was feeling left out because her 2 best friends since 1st grade had become very talkative on the phone in the afternoons. Her daughter wanted to become hearing so she too could talk on the telephone. In the third story, the mother of a very capable young girl who moved comfortably between sign language and spoken language indicated that her compliant and sweet daughter was becoming defiant and resistant, both at home and at school. There were indications that the daughter was becoming increasingly rude and inconsiderate to her interpreter, a woman she had previously adored. An educational interpreter who recognizes the need for the deaf or hard of hearing student to be acclimated in the larger group probably experiments to find the most appropriate avenue for interpreting social exchanges. As the interpreter gains familiarity with different communication behaviors in the classroom, especially those behaviors that constitute side conversations, the interpreter should become more proficient in representing the different communication behaviors, even the slang, sarcasm, and slander that are common to these side conversations. Certainly, a hands-off rule is most appropriate for intimate communication behaviors or when social exchanges involving the deaf student are successful without the interpreter.